Welcome to the King's Word. Now, let's join Pastor K. Ijishisan for today's word.
You'll be confused in life. Number 2, where am I from? That's a very, very important question. Where am I from? You know, natural science cannot help you where this question is concerned. In 1989, I took a course, and in that course, my professor, it was a botany course, and my professor tried to convince us that we all evolved. There's what I call the confusion of the theory of evolution that says every one of us used to be some other kind of inferior animal until we developed to become this. Ladies and gentlemen, how can you prove it to me that I was once a tadpole? It's too late. That's confusion. So natural science might not be able to answer this question. Where are you from? I'm talking about your source. So you need to answer the question of your identity. Then, where did you come from? Where did you come from? You know, the value of a thing is determined by where it came from. Do you know that? The value of a what? A thing is determined by what? Its source. That's why this is a very, very important question. We can't just push it aside. We need to be thoroughly informed about our source. Ladies and gentlemen, there's so many theories out there in the world, but I've come to tell you this morning that God is your source. Turn to your neighbor and say, I came from God. Genesis chapter 1 says, and God said, let us make man. That tells you God decided to have me. I'm a product of God's decision. Ooh, I'm excited about that. Turn to your neighbor and say, I'm a product of God's decision. He said, let us make man. So it was not by accident. I did not, you know, that's the terrible thing about that theory of evolution is just things just are happening. No, I'm not a product of accident. I was planned. He decided it's time to extend ourselves into this planet. How we going to make man? After our own image and after our likeness. Somebody say, I am God kind. And I came from God. Somebody say, why is it so important for me to know where I came from? Because where you came from is also where your supplies are locked in. Until you know where you came from, you will be deprived in life. But if you can realize that you came from above, above can supply for you. He says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. So if your source is your shepherd, you are guaranteed of supplies. So the question of source needs to be settled in every heart. You should know you, and you should know where you came from. You did not just show up, you were created. You were pre-planned. He decided to have you, and he created you in his image and likeness, and is responsible for your life. I don't know what to do. I'm confused. Could it be the reason why you're confused is because you have walked away from where you came from? But I came this morning to let someone know it's time to go back to your source. Because if you find your source, you can find your supplies. So your supplies are at your source. So you have to know your identity. Then you need to know your source. He created me. Turn to your neighbor and say, he created me. He manufactured me. I came out of God's manufacturing plant. I'm a product of God. Come on, say it with confidence. Say, I'm a product of God. I'm a product of God. I didn't just show up. He created me. He manufactured me. So he's responsible for me. And that's why I can cry back to him and say, God, what do I do? After all, it's your idea, not my idea. Or is anybody here that convinced something or someone to come around and that was why you appeared? And you can give us a lecture on how you fought for yourself and eventually you showed up. Ladies and gentlemen, your parents are not your source. You didn't just show up because somebody slept with somebody. You didn't get me. Don't you never say, I'm not a product of fun. Yeah. Have you thought of it before? Do you know, I did pharmacy. I was told millions of sperms are released every time a man comes in contact with a woman in sexual intimacy. But just one of them is needed. So the other were wasted. Why was it that everyone wasted but you? Because they were not called. You were called. I said you were called. I said you were called. So every one of them had to be wasted. Because they just came to our company. You are the original one needed. So you showed your ID card and you were welcome. Maybe your parents told you, we were not planning to have you. In fact, your mom was supposed to be on contraceptive. Something went wrong. Something went wrong with your method. Nothing went wrong with me. God decided it's time to come. And I showed up. Have you thought of it? You didn't come 1925 because you were not part of that generation. You were not born during the time of Hitler because that was not the time for you. You came at this time because this is your time. Turn to your neighbor and say, this is my time. Come on, shout it with confidence that this is my time. If you understand what I'm talking about this morning, your identity and your source, you will walk through life with confidence. When you are going through situations, you tell yourself, number one, my showing up on that was not my idea. I did not convince God I wanted to come. He was the one that decided it's my time. And secondly, he gave me an identity. So I'm not lost in this world. He said, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death? I will fear no evil. I have an identity. I will not be lost. There might be 6.5 billion people on earth. I'm still a star. Oh my God. I thought somebody would be celebrating God by now. I said there might be over 6 billion people on earth. I'm still a star. So the world is, who will know me? They will know me. I have an identity. I'm original. Come on, shout and say, I'm original. So you need to understand that God is your source. Psalm 139 verse 13 to 14. Quickly, let's run through that. Psalm 139 from verse 13. It said, for you, God, formed my inward parts. Somebody say, God formed my inward parts. He said, you covered me in my mother's womb. And verse 14 says, I will praise you, for I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. The question this morning, does your soul knows it very well? Your soul needs to know he formed my inward parts. He covered me in my mother's womb. No fear. Like someone will say, no shaking. He formed my inward parts. Are you sure you can go through this? Oh, I'm not alone. He formed my inward parts. He created me. He formed me. He covered me. If he could cover me in my wonders womb, he will cover me in this situation.